Hello and welcome to Cloud Tech 10 for the 24th of July 2017. I'm Mark and I'm going to tell you all the latest news about Microsoft Azure from the past week in 10 minutes or less. A number of Azure regions have been updated with new services over the past week. In Brazil, Azure Automation is now available. The Korea region has added Azure Backup and Azure Site Recovery. Meanwhile, in the UK, Logic Apps are now available there as well as Azure Stream Analytics, which has also been added to the Canada regions. It's now quick and easy to get started creating and managing Azure Analysis Services semantic models using the new Azure Analysis Services Web Designer, which is now available in preview. The Web Designer is ideal for getting started with a new model or to make simple changes to a model. From the Azure Analysis Services overview blade, you'll see a link to open the Web Designer. Select your Analysis Services instance and you'll see a list of current models. I'll choose Add to create a new model. I can create models from Azure SQL Database, Azure SQL Data Warehouse, or from Power BI PBIX files. I'll give my new model a name and then select the source. In this case, Azure SQL Database. I choose the SQL Server instance that I want to use, provide the credentials needed to access it, and select the database I want to use. Next, I see a list of the available tables and views and can choose the ones that I want to include in my model. When that's done, I just click Create. I can start to build and query my model here by choosing the fields that I want to include and creating filters. Or by clicking on this pencil icon, I can edit the model using the tabular model scripting language. Standard CDN configurations provide the ability to cache files in a location close to the user for faster delivery of static files, but a large and growing number of websites provide dynamic content generated in real time which cannot be cached in this way. Azure CDN Dynamic Site Acceleration provides a way to significantly improve the performance of web pages with dynamic content. It does this through three methods. Route optimization chooses the most optimal path using either public internet or routing via Akamai's infrastructure to avoid internet congestion. TCP optimizations that eliminate slow start, leverage persistent connections, and tuning TCP packet parameters, and object prefetch, which minimizes the need for additional linked assets to be retrieved when a web page is downloaded. Dynamic Site Acceleration is enabled when you create a new endpoint. From the Optimized For dropdown, choose Dynamic Site Acceleration. You will need to provide the path to a probe file, which is an object that Dynamic Site Acceleration uses to perform optimization of network routing. Other than that, the configuration of the CDN is the same as usual. File and folder recovery for Azure Virtual Machine Backups is now generally available. This feature allows you to recover selected files and folders from a Windows or Linux virtual machine without having to perform a full restore. To use the feature, go to a virtual machine that has backup enabled. In this case, I have an Ubuntu 1604 virtual machine. I choose backup and then at the top here, file recovery. I can select which recovery point from those available from my virtual machine that I want to use. With that done, I click this Download Script button. This prepares a script that will allow me to mount the backup on the file system of my Ubuntu host. Once that's complete, the script is downloaded and a password to access the script is generated. I'll copy this for later. Now I go to my virtual machine. I'm missing a file from the data directory, so I'm going to recover it from my backup. I've used the scp command to copy the script that was downloaded from the portal to this virtual machine. I run the script and I'm prompted for the password that was generated, so I enter it here. The backup volume is mounted at this location on my virtual machine, so it's really just a matter of copying the files that I'm missing back to where they should be. As I drill into the directory structure, I eventually reach my home folder and then open up the data directory, and here's my missing file. So let's copy that back to my home directory. And now if I browse the home directory's data folder, here's my missing file, back where it should be. Finally, I disconnect the mounted backup volume. I return to the Azure portal and click the Unmount Disks button. And after a few moments, the unmount process is complete. Azure Data Lake Analytics has introduced policies that help you manage your compute resources. Click on Properties in your Azure Data Lake Analytics instance and you'll be able to access these policy settings. There are two types of policies, account level and job level policies. The account level policies are applied across a Data Lake Analytics account and include maximum AUs, which limits the total number of AUs that can be assigned across all running jobs. Maximum number of running jobs controls the number of jobs that can run concurrently, and days to retain job queries allows you to reduce the retention period that Data Lake Analytics keeps files related to a job for. Job level policies control the maximum AUs and maximum priority that individual users or groups can set on a job. A default policy is defined, in this case at 100 AUs, and a priority of 1, and this applies to all users. Additional policies can then be defined with specific priorities set for individuals or groups. Microsoft SQL Scripter is a cross-platform command line tool used to generate scripts for working with various versions of SQL Server. In the latest release, support for Azure SQL Data Warehouse has been added. MS SQL Scripter is written in Python and can be installed very easily. For example, at a Linux command prompt, I simply use the Python package manager pip and type pip install MS SQL-Scripter, and in just a matter of seconds, the installation has completed. I can type MS SQL Scripter -H to get a list of available commands. MS SQL Scripter is open source and the repository can be found on GitHub at github.com/Microsoft/SQL-explat-CLI.